Hello. So,
Welcome to Sports Talk, where we discuss teams versus players, players versus players, teams versus teams. Today's topic is Jeter versus the Marlins.
you don't want to introduce yourself?
My name is Alex.
My name is Joshua.
So like I said, we're going to talk about Jeter versus the Marlins. He now owns the Marlins, but he is a Hall of Famer who played for the Yankees for about, I believe, 19 years of his career. I can say so myself. I'm from New York. I'm a big Yankees fan. I can say that he's better than any Marlin player that ever played.
Do you think, like, when a Hall of Famer or something goes to buy a team, it's for the sake of the team or, like, just because they want to?
It could be both, or maybe he wanted a change of location, change of players. Because I know when he bought out the Marlins, he completely changed the team, traded off every good player that he had. He wanted to rebuild.
Okay. Well, for myself, I'm not sure I'd be the biggest Yankees fan coming from South Florida. I'm near the Marlins, so I guess this is a good change, nonetheless.
I will say when he did, trade off and get rid of all the players, D. Strange Gordon, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, it kind of disappointed me because I was a Marlins fan for a brief time. I've been here for 19 years of my life, but when Jeter came in and did that, I had so much respect for him. It kind of went down when he did that, but I get trying to rebuild the team, trying to make it a young team, make it better. And I will say that when he did trade off those three important players, their careers escalated.
Okay. So you said you're a Yankees fan. Is there anything that your team can do now? Like, how's your team looking?
My team this year actually did a big change. We just acquired two great players, Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo, which I believe those two will be Hall of Famers in the future, along with Giancarlo Stanton, who's still playing for the team. Aaron Judge, he can have some more work done. He needs to focus more on, putting the bat on the ball and less striking out. But with the Marlins, we have a good team. Jesus Aguilar, the first baseman. We have Jazz Chisholm, a great player from the Bahamas. Lewis Brinson, who's making a big change in his career this year. So I think now Jeter is doing better. They just need to work on chemistry.
Okay. But other than that, would you say, like, if you were given the chance to, would you go and buy a certain team?
If I had the chance to buy a team, definitely the Yankees.
The Yankees?
Being from New York, I do want to move back there one day. I do want to work out there on my career. And also, if I had the chance, I would be at every game, at every Yankees game.
Have the seasonal passes?
Definitely.
All right. Now that we've talked about everything now, we'll pass it back on to Don and Freddie S.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Yo, what's up? Baby, let's go! Welcome to our website. We got loads of news and gossip for you today. But first, here's a new song.
Tú quieres ser mi amigo, no puedo estar contigo, porque cuando te di mi pobre corazón, tú lo dejaste ir. Cuando llamaste ayer, la voz de una mujer exigiéndote me hizo comprender que sigue siendo el mismo. Y tú no sabes el dolor que llevo dentro del corazón. Tú me dejas dejaste ir, no puedo ser tu amiga. No importa lo que digas, porque cuando te di mi pobre corazón, tú lo dejaste ir. Y tú no sabes el dolor que llevo dentro del corazón, porque cuando te quise a ti, tú me dejaste ir. No puedo ser tu amiga, no importa lo que digas, porque cuando te di mi pobre corazón, tú lo dejaste ir. Qué bueno que te has ido, no eres enemigo, pero recuerda bien que aquel que siempre da recibirá lo mismo, recibirá lo mismo, recibirá lo mismo, lo mismo, recibirá lo mismo.
It's lunchtime and the Brookyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brookyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brookyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
You don't know what I have bad. Welcome to the Brookyn Cafe on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We got a great show for you today.
Whole lot of fun.
A whole lot of moving parts. We may even have someone hypnotized on set today.
You got a whole lot of things in your hands.
Yes, I know.
You got a ballot, you got your cigar, you got your coffee, you got a script. We got a lot going on today.
I got a script. This script has 4 words.
You got 4 words.
You got a whole book.
I know.
They forgot about me. You know, me to do this script is very, how do we say, tricky.
I understand. We've been practicing.
Tricky.
We've been practicing this since yesterday. Just so you know, we are not as organized and scripted. Someone actually called me today and she said, I've been on your show before when you were up in Delray. She said, you were very unscripted then. Are you still? Yes, with a whole lot more space, we're still very unscripted.
And it goes to show you, I'm not used to doing this.
And everyone knows we're unscripted, which is even more hilarious.
That's why I gotta light my cigar.
We're going to go a little bit off the rails today and go a little bit scripted. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Check your inbox because our monthly newsletter has finally gone out with a lot of love and details going into it. You too can host your own radio and TV show, real radio, streaming TV show, and all of the information is there with some examples of some other shows that we get to produce on a weekly basis.
That's right. And if you don't know how, we teach you how. It's a lot of fun. And the ladies will attest to that. By the end of the day, you leave here with a chuckle on your face. Is that a thing, a chuckle on the face?
Smile.
I'm hypnotized, I can't.
You've been working hard with the crew. You got the guys on point talking sports, hanging some new pictures. A lot of great things. We got Cracker Barrel back on the board. So, Val, welcome back. We've missed you. Only for her to be leaving again.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have Vlad on sound so that we can sort of correct some of the boo-boos that we had yesterday. But, well, it's a work in progress. There is nothing that is easy to do in this business.
Nope.
But it's a whole lot of rewarding.
And as we always say, most of our crew are here on credits and internships, so they are learning. So always bear with us. So when you write in, oh, we don't hear you, just let us know because everyone is learning. A lot of them are in school, out of school, getting their first toe out into the real world on what the production business is like. So part of what we do that you don't see is teaching as well. So a whole lot of time goes into teaching these young minds to, God only knows why they want to do this for a living, but to do this for a real living.
We are doing a movie, a short movie.
Are we?
Yes. I've decided we're doing that.
I wanted to talk to Vlad about that because Harry, who we had in yesterday, I think would be a great short film.
Yes, and a World War II veteran, he's 97 young, and he wants to put together his life back then to now, and I think it's vital that we put it together as a book.
Agreed.
But what a short film that would be.
So
Slick is going to be dressed as a
General Patton?
Yeah, well, either that or Hitler, one or the other.
Oh no, no.
I may have to put you against the grain. That way you'll act with anger.
Can you imagine if our copyright editor actually saw what Freddie said before he said it?
What's wrong with that?
No, nothing.
You're not allowed to say that
You
either?
can say anything you want to say.
Wow.
But I was
I'm trying to get some words in there.
I was going to talk to Vlad about maybe doing that as a second short film, which
Yes,
I think
we got
would
to
be
get
cool.
him back in studio to set that whole thing up. And then there's videos and pictures and everything that go accompany to that. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Which will be great. Today's set is adorned by the colored pencil art of Jay Harmon. Spectacular set. You've got the water horse behind you, which, oh my gosh, we see angels, I see Jesus, I see all kinds of things in that picture.
That one behind you is an amazing piece. That, when I first saw it, I thought it was a picture.
The pelican?
That pelican, that is a pencil drawn art. But it looks like a picture, doesn't it? He got the sky right. I mean, that's what he does for a living. But that one, to me, is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
So more to come. Jay will be here tomorrow doing his show, and then on Thursday we have a 15-year-old prodigy colored pencil artist coming in on Taps on Alana's show on Thursday night to meet Jay. So it's really cool what we get to do every day.
And that was an interesting piece because that little 15-year-old can draw, man. She's good, very good.
So we got a great show lined up for you today. We've got relationship and coaching from Sonali Kukreja. We also have Julio Fuentes joining us on the 1 o'clock hour, talking about hurricane taxes and see how that rolls out.
I need to figure what all of that is out.
Virtually. I got notes for you. We're very official here today. And you are going to be hypnotized, apparently.
And we have
honey.
are we allowed to say her name?
Sure.
Can we say your name?
Of course.
Then you say it.
My name is Alexandra.
Talk it to the mic.
Oh.
Say that again.
My name is Alexandra Callner, and I'm a hypnotist.
That's right. So we are all hypnotized today, ladies and gentlemen. And when she snaps her fingers, we'll be unhypnotized.
You can quack like a duck.
Yeah, I'm going to be quacking like a duck when I start reading this thing. But it's interesting. Very interesting.
So a lot going on. So I'm excited that Sonali is here. She's a certified relationship coach and psychologist, one of the contributing writers for Thrive Global, Marriage.com, DivorceMagazine.com, and Medium.com, really. She knows more than I realize she knows.
I'm looking for her.
Keep looking. Sonali helps people have a loving, fulfilling, and successful relationship by teaching them effective communication skills based on their unique situation.
Funny thing is, I met Sonali, I think 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
Correct, 4 years ago, yeah.
She was working with somebody that I still produce, and she was actually in the radio station. Both of them, right? Or one of them? One radio station.
One radio station.
Yeah.
The one down here?
The one on NN.
Okay.
Which has its own answering of questions. They pick up the phone and they post out the questions for Sarah to pick.
So the funny thing is on social media, you talk to people, then I talk to the same people, and we go back and forth, and somehow it comes to actually booking the segment. So Sonali is here joining us, and she remembered us from Del Rey, but you knew her when she walked in the door.
But I didn't talk to Sonali.
I did.
You did.
I know.
But I remember her. But I couldn't put the name to the face until she walked in and says, I know you. I know you too. I remember you from Miami.
Past life.
You were eating in a restaurant down on Lincoln Road. You ever eat? You ever had dinner at Lincoln Road? No, I haven't. Oh, you have a twin sister. That bit didn't bite.
You just never know with you.
You never know.
Oh, honey, we've got such communication issues.
I'm trying to set up the
Well,
segment.
that's why I'm here.
The communication, and we have our own communication things. I get angry, I stomp my foot, and then Val goes, here she goes again.
The funny thing is that somebody in this studio finishes my sentences. Freddie has a bad short memory problem, so I can't remember people's names or things, and I just go, you know that, and she goes, yes. Now they're beginning to get contaminated with me too, because now they're finishing my sentences.
A whole lot going on. But I would think right now, I know the divorce rates right now, Sonali, have gone through the roof during COVID.
It has, because they have been spending too much time together.
Is that true?
Yes?
Yes, that's true.
But isn't a marriage based on that philosophy?
No.
Based on philosophy, but that doesn't happen in reality. They need some space, but spending too much time together under the same roof, it's driving them crazy.
Yeah, because I don't think marriage was ever intended to spend 24/7 with your partner.
Correct.
Nowhere in the Bible is that written.
What are you talking about? Moses had 27 wives and they all were married until he died. Years.
27.
Yeah.
But he was able to go for. So the other 26 had a break while he was visiting
Well,
the other ones.
this is it. You have to have a house for each one.
Yes.
Because to be with anybody, forget about a wife, even an animal for that long, you want to kick it out the door.
I tell you, I'm a big proponent now that I think primary bedrooms, there should be 2 primary bedrooms in a home.
Some do actually.
But nobody talks about it because they go,
Nobody
how could
talks
you?
about it,
And they're all going to write to me and say, I can't believe Dawn said that on air. Dawn will say this in person and Dawn will say this on
Right
air.
to her, right.
Write to me, because I really think at a certain point you need your own space to sleep, to get dressed, to think, to do what you got to do. Otherwise, you can't be together 24/7. What do you think, Sonali?
No, in a lot of marriages, especially wives, they prefer a separate bedroom for themselves.
Now, I was going to ask you.
Generally speaking, statistically, but not in every marriage, but mostly it's the woman who
Why
wants a
is
separate
that?
space.
Why is it mostly the woman?
She needs a space because she needs space.
Because we just need space. The more mature we get, the more
She
space
doesn't want
we
her
need.
man to be on top of her all the time.
Well,
also
that
feels-
could be cured. That's not the problem, but that's communication. That's different things. But then answer me this. Answer the riddle. If you, why is she laughing? Don't laugh,
Because she's
Crackerbarrel.
getting married in
I
a
know she is.
one-bedroom apartment.
If you want space, which is okay, then why are you getting married? Because marriage changes spacing. Like we do in sports, like basketball, football. Spacing means that you're real close to each other and you can't run a play. You need space. So why would you get married if you want space?
Well, in marriage also, you can keep the space and you have this thing that, okay, he's my husband, I'm his wife. It needs, it's a need for belongingness that people need and they like. They want to be belonged since the beginning. Belongingness.
Wow.
A sense of belongingness.
A sense of belonging. You hearing this?
I understand. You want to be connected.
You want to be connected.
And loving.
And marriage gives you that, a sense of belongingness, a permanent belongingness, that you know that he or she is mine now. We are committed. If you're not married, you are committed, but then again you have a chance, okay, if it doesn't work out, I'll walk out. It's easy to walk out when it's not, in the paper. It's not signed.
So you're telling me that paper has that much?
Oh yes, it has a very big effect on the mind, yes.
Really? I think it's different now. I think people who are in committed relationships aren't necessarily married, but I still think you need your space.
Everybody needs space, yes.
You just need your space. And they're younger generations now. Guys go on guy trips, and the girls go on the girl trips because everyone needs their space.
Yes, no, I was trying to answer his question.
About
because he
marriage
was talking
versus
about marriage.
not the piece of paper. Do you think that's true? Think the piece of paper makes a difference?
Of
honey?
course,
In
it
a lot
changes everything, darling.
Honey?
It changes everything. I think that piece of paper, in some people's minds, opens the floodgates to what you visualize to be real is not real. It's just not true.
But people get married for different reasons. But then things change,
Of
right?
course,
you
the
get
one
married,
reason.
and then you have your kids, and then your kids grow up, and you're still married, and you go, oh, but now I want to do this. I need my own suite.
Well, you have seen people complaining that, okay, women say, oh, he was so good in the beginning. He was chasing me. He was doing these things for me. Now we are married. He stopped.
Yes, because you complain all the time.
Because we want so many different things.
So
My
many different
goodness
things. Woman
gracious.
has a lot of needs, and in the beginning, man is trying to make his impression on a woman. And then later on, when he gets all the questions answered, because he's asking a lot of questions, he wants to know about her. Once he knows about her, he feels comfortable now.
Yeah,
like,
but
people take others for granted. That's
but
what
that's
happens.
just bad communication. A loaf of bread. You ever buy a loaf of bread? Wheat, white,
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
26 slices.
Is every piece of slice of bread the same?
No, if you cut it with the hand, it's different.
No,
If you
no. A
cut it-
loaf of bread comes cut,
Yes.
and you take a piece out and make a sandwich.
It's
Is
different.
every piece of bread the same?
No.
And that is life.
Yes.
Just because you meet somebody today doesn't mean she's or he's going to be the same person
No, people
tomorrow.
keep evolving. People keep changing, and you have to keep up with that. It's not like, people complain, oh, she changed or he changed. No, everybody changes. Even you're changing. After 1 year, I'll be different. People grow, people evolve. So you have to keep up with the partner.
So let me ask you. The trick of the matter is to give your partner an opportunity to grow and you grow with them.
Correct.
There's the balance.
Yes.
That's about being like Gualenda. You know who Gualenda is? He was, of course, 2 buildings and he fell in San Juan. You remember that. That's a Gualenda move. You have to be able to balance yourself on this high beam in every relationship
Yes.
and think that every day is yesterday. Because if you think every day is tomorrow, you're going to have some issues, no?
But if you think every day is yesterday, we've changed since yesterday about 10 times.
That's okay. But the hunt is still
Slick's
on.
like, yeah.
The hunt. Women like to be hunted, from what she's saying. They want to feel appreciated, needed. When you stop doing that because you think you got all that and you think you're a bag of chips, that's the end of it.
But then there's this slippery slope with us. You want to be
Slippery.
appreciated at 9 a.m., but by 9:02, don't come near me. But by 9:04, I want you to love me
That's
again.
just
And then
women.
9:10, you know what?
What is it with
I
them?
gotta put on my makeup, but by 10 o'clock, I need another cup of coffee.
No, that's okay. Everybody is different. Yeah, everybody is different. Every person is unique. Every couple is unique. So whenever we say something is in general, generic, it doesn't apply to every situation or every couple or every man or woman. That's why we do sessions with, one-on-one, so that we can dig deep, talk more. How do they do? What they say to each other. Like she's saying, everybody's not like her. And she's not
trust
like
you me.
She's
That's
not
been
like
proven.
everybody's different.
Are you married, may I ask?
No, I'm not.
Do you have children?
No.
This is going to be some set today, baby. We're going full-fledged. Sometimes it's refreshing to see this perspective from somebody who isn't married as opposed to who is. Because there is 4 sides to every story.
Well,
know
I
that.
have experienced marriage also.
Oh, you have been married.
Oh, yes.
My
For
condolences.
16 years.
Welcome to my club. I've been married twice.
No, I'm a good place now. I'm happy
That's all
to
that
be-
matters is you're in a good place.
That's all it matters.
Oh, this is
I'm
going to
in
be
a good
fun.
place.
And at the end of the day, if you can't work it out,
You can quack like a duck.
you can always be hypnotized. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the wild card. I think we should give this away as a gift to people,
Thank
so
you, Val.
that this becomes something that people can fall back on. And this is your get out of jail card. Wow, get out of jail
The
card.
Brooklyn Cafe show
Presents-
Monopoly game with your get out of jail card.
So if you're ever having a disagreement with your old lady or a guy or whatever, you pull out the card. We don't need a counselor.
Oh,
We
you do
to get
need.
Here's
hypnotized.
the interesting thing with disagreements is you know when they're coming. Because you can see the other person, if you've been with them a long time, getting worked up. And you can start seeing the positioning. Like when a lion or a tiger, they're getting ready to, they get all positioned. And you can get, there's like either the sighing or the slamming of the cabinets, and you know what's coming. But you don't necessarily want to have this argument because in your mind there's either no need for it or maybe there is a need for it. So then you position yourself. Now then everyone gets on the defensive.
Yes.
And first person who talks loses.
Well, that's where communication skills come in. We all communicate, but how we communicate, how we say it, what we say it, that makes a difference.
What do you think about texting and communication skills?
A lot of meaning gets lost in texting. Technology makes it easier, but it makes it.
Yeah, but it makes it easier to lie too. Do my feelings matter when we're having an argument? So if we're having an argument, do how I feel about what you're saying, is that important?
Yes, both feelings are important. Both people, yes, very
Because
important.
sometimes people will say things.
You have to take turns. You just can't keep interrupting. Let the one person talk first and then the other one. Because then if you keep talking and interrupting each other, then it's useless. It's not going anywhere, getting anywhere. Or if you're talking about a issue, it doesn't get resolved.
What about accusations in an argument?
No, it's again how you say it. Accusation again doesn't help. How you say, if you're not liking anything, if you dislike something, or if you have a problem with something, it's how you say it and what you say it.
Do you remember we did that show once about the 5 love languages?
Yes. we
Yeah.
do.
And the different, like if your
And
love
I
language.
argued the whole thing.
Yes, is gift giving or touch or words or communication. Now, does that come into play? Because if your love language is giving gifts, but my love language may be touch, and you give a gift, but you don't touch me, you don't hug me, then you're feeling like, oh, but I'm giving you this gift, and I'm saying, but I really just want a hug. Does that come into play?
Yes, it does. You said giving gifts. That's his style of loving. But whether his partner likes it or not, that is important. He has to know what's her language. You have to fulfill her language. And she will fulfill yours. If you like receiving gifts, then she has to give you gifts so that your need gets fulfilled.
Is it important for me to understand her language, or is it important
It's
for me
important,
to make
yeah.
adjustments? Because some people never get it.
Well, some things you make adjustments, and some things you can work on it. This is one of it, and it's easy. And everything comes with practice. If you keep repeating it, if you keep doing it, then when you see your partner happy, then you do it more.
Now, this is the big question. Women, when they have conversations, if it gets heated, it turns emotional. Guys don't know how to turn that emotional button on or off or sideways, and we get all
I don't
sidetracked.
think that's true. I think you guys get angry.
No, we don't get angry. We get emotional
You cry?
because you guys get all
Do you
hysterical.
I know. I hate that when that happens too. I'm like, oh, that's like such a sign of weakness.
Yeah, but then we feel that we hurt you,
we probably did.
and we don't know how to backpedal our way out of the situation.
We probably shouldn't have started the fight in the first place.
And how do you know it was the guy?
Because they probably were huffing and puffing and slamming doors going, I'm just not happy with the situation.
I can see why this script is written.
Yes, that's the reason.
I can see that.
Remember Dr. J said we needed marriage therapy?
Yeah, she said that. You know, the funny thing is, in my world, in my experience, I always believe there's a giver and a taker. And the giver has to adjust with a taker's mentality, and the taker has to adjust with the giver's mentality. And somewhere along the line, you're going to meet somewhere. It ain't going to be pretty all the time, but somewhere along the line, there should not be this conflict of interest that says, I don't love you. That's not what this is about. And you got to separate this stuff. And that's why I question, I'm supposed to live 60 years with my partner. My parents did it, 69 years they lived together.
Well, negotiation is a big part of resolving conflicts.
What about respect?
That's very important, because when somebody is not liking anything, you have to respect their feelings first. Person likes to be respected and loved, and then you work on it.
But shouldn't you let whoever it is understand that, listen, I'm a person and I expect to be respected? Shouldn't you do that from the get-go?
Yes.
And don't be a rug where people walk all over you or make you live in guilt. Guilt is really
Alexandra's saying yes.
Guilt is really a killer in relationships, because when you make people feel guilty, that's the third rail. You're done. You're done. That ain't never going to recuperate from that relationship, because the person becomes a nobody. and you're diminishing them into oblivion.
But you may not realize you've done it.
Well, that's the reason we call it a skill. Like I said, everybody communicates. You need a skill. You need to learn that skill. We are not born with those skills. It's acquired. We are not taught in the schools, and our parents don't teach us those skills. It's acquired. You learn it, and like you said, respect. So when you are saying something, you start with that respect, meaning you acknowledge those feelings first. You start something appreciating about that person. That means you're giving a respect to that person. You're acknowledging it. You acknowledge those feelings first, and then you say whatever your situation is, and you express that. So that means that person is respected first, and then acknowledge, the feelings get acknowledged, and then you say whatever you want to express, how you feel.
Let's go to commercial break. When we come back, let's talk about that, because sometimes these I messages, sometimes if they say, well, I hear you saying this, but I'm saying that. And sometimes you're in this heated moment and you go, I don't want to rehear what I just heard. I just want to say. So let's talk about communication skills when we come back. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, or write in. Let us know your communication questions. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tax alert! Tax alert! I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Velati on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Velarde, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Amp Media Productions and WNN Money Talk Radio have been in conjoint business for 10 years. They've been working around the clock, nonstop, to promote over 500 shows and businesses with added platforms such as social media live streaming, podcasts, and the specialty of live radio. To amplify your impact and start your show today, contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422.
Been watching the Brookyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back. I love this subject.
I like the subject too. You know, I'm in the process of moving. And now that I've got a new 4-bedroom house, I'm taking one of the bedrooms over at Studio D for my space. The more I talk about it, the more my space grows into everything that I need in my space.
You have 3 studios and you need more space.
Studio D.
I hear the state of Colorado has like...
You know, my makeup, Mandy, grows. It went from 36 inches to I need an entire room, apparently. But yes, Studio D.
It's funny, when I started in this business, I had an editing room and with computers and stuff. And I went in there the other day and says, I don't want to do this. I want them to edit.
Changes, right?
The changes in place.
So with age, I think a lot of things change. Our communication.
And there we go again.
Change.
Yes, the old man has aged.
We all age. Can you guys lighten Freddie up because he looks a little dark? Got to get you out of the dark room.
It ain't me.
Well, I've got light and you don't.
No, that's not true.
See?
Alex,
Here
turn
you
that
go.
to me. Let's take some of the light off of her and we'll put it to me. Just turn this light towards me.
Here goes, huh? Slick will take care
No,
of
no,
it.
turn it on. Leave it on. And turn it towards
angle
me.
it.
There you go. Good.
There you go.
Hey.
We'll get you out of the
See,
dark.
now I'm in the sun.
So the communication is imperative. And you communicate in your own Freddieisms.
Yes, I do that on purpose. Do you know if you say something in plain English, people sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't, right?
Right.
But if you create a new word that nobody's ever heard before, they listen. What the hell did you just say? But you got their ear, right?
Yes, you got their attention, yes.
See, I learned that from her.
Let's talk about these iMessages. You know, when our kids, I'm sure your kids too, when the kids went through school, they had to learn to communicate. I feel this when you do that. You hurt my feelings when you say something like that. And I think it's great to recognize, but sometimes in the heat of it, I don't want my words coming back to me. What I hear you saying is that a thing?
Yes, that's a.
Who teaches that? Do you teach that?
I guess they're teaching in the schools now.
Yes.
Well, they are kids, they are just parroting, but as an adult, we say that don't just parrot it, say it in your own words, rephrase it, just to make sure that you listen correctly, because communication is what one person is saying something and the other person who's listening, they may be listening according to their own frame of mind. But what is missing here, you have to make sure the message is relaying correctly, what the speaker is saying and the listener is listening, so they're partners on the same page. That's why they say rephrase it, just to make sure that you are on the same page.
Now, do you have a purpose of communication? In other words, if I want you to understand something that I say or feel, then my communication has to be put a certain way. So sometimes I go against the grain, like I'll play devil's advocate, and I will disagree with everything you have to say. And then I'll come back and say, you have a good point. But I do that because I want you to understand that I do hear what you're saying. And at the end of the day, I should stop telling my secrets. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me.
What secrets?
What I just said. You didn't even listen, right? See that? You see what I'm talking about?
No, you don't have to agree with everything. It's not about agreeing. It's about acknowledging their feelings, because that's their feeling. You cannot disregard them. But you don't have to agree with what they are saying. They may be wrong or right, doesn't matter.
Right.
You just acknowledge the feelings. That's what you have to acknowledge. That's it. First acknowledge, and then you say that, okay, you feel differently, you think differently. You don't have to agree.
Well, in a relationship, then how does that work? If I say to you, every Saturday night I want to go to sleep, and you go, but honey, I really want to be with you. And you say, well, I understand you want to be with me, but I want to go to sleep. So now you're at this, we've communicated what we each want. We each know what the other one wants, but no one's, where does he go?
You give suggestions then. Okay, how about this? That's where negotiation comes in.
So you compromise.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a big part. That's a big part of communication.
And then go to sleep.
No, you do a movie in the bed. You play games or whatever with a movie rolling and popcorn, and you listen. Not everybody's going to negotiate.
Well, small, simple changes in words makes a lot of difference.
Small, simple words.
Simple words, work around the words, and it makes a huge difference. So I want to show everybody here an example of communication where a couple is trying to resolve a conflict, and I would need 2 volunteers.
Guess that would be us.
That would be great.
Let's go with Pie with it.
We're going to volunteer for this one?
Yeah, we're going to volunteer.
All right. Honey, I really appreciate you giving me honest feedback on my writing. I feel that I'm really being cared for.
Oh, good. You know, I enjoy doing it for you.
But I'm wondering if I could talk to you about something that I'm really not proud of. It's how I express my frustration when I get mad at you. Instead of stomping my foot,
Of course, Angel. Sure.
well, I don't really like how I express anger or I raise my voice around you. I really feel bad later on. I wish I could find a better way that we both can deal with my anger. If we can do that, I'd be able to get over it more quickly and spend more time loving each other.
That sounds good to me, honey. I wish you would find another way.
I've noticed that when I get upset, you really immediately try to fix what caused it, or you criticize me back on something unrelated, like you throw it back in my face. That really annoys me, and it's not helpful at all. I don't feel heard or listened to.
Wow, this is a good one. Do they annoy you because you don't feel I am listening to you? This is a good one.
You like this one?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, page 5. I think they bother me because it's not what I want at the moment. Since I'm upset, I guess I'm not very rational at those times. Can you think of something that would help me work through my upset more quickly instead of throwing it back at my face?
Well, I could just be quiet and listen.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Would you be open to hearing my suggestions?
Sure! Why are you guys laughing?
It's hard for me to say, but when I'm upset, I think I want you to give me lots of empathy and put yourself in my shoes and agree with me about how I feel or understand my feelings. And I don't like them to be dismissed. I want my pain to be fully acknowledged. Would you be willing to do that as an experiment when I'm angry? And we'll see if it works.
Okay, we can try that.
Deal?
Yeah, it's a deal.
High five. So you see, there's a negotiation going on here. Negotiation is a big part of resolving conflicts or agreements in your relationship. I know this is scripted. You cannot remember the script every time you are going through a disagreement. And it's okay, you forget it. But if you're aware and if you are willing to work on your relationship, then you will remember. And with practice and keep repeating it, it becomes your second nature then. It comes out naturally. And you get on the right track then.
I want to play devil's advocate with you. Suppose I'm reading Dawn's part and she's reading my part.
Mm-hmm.
Does the balance stay the same?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Want to try it again, honey?
No. No, because to me, this seems like the woman is in distress.
No, it's both ways. It's both ways. You know,
but
you
she says
picked
it
up
works
your,
both
yeah, script. You could do the opposite, other way.
Because I don't know, as a man, and only you know this, would you say, will you help me get over my anger? Or is it more of an ego thing and you would never say that?
I have never heard a man say that.
That's
ever.
why I'm asking.
And I know plenty of guys, and I've never heard that.
Yes.
I've said to you before, this situation really frustrates me.
Yes, you have.
Can you help me?
Your foot does all the talking.
And it happened again this morning, and I'm like, I'm done. And you came up with a solution. You said, send it to so-and-so and let them take a look and see if they can help you.
And it worked.
But you've never said the other way. You say to me, all good.
You know, it's funny. Frustration and not getting to where you want to go, I'm pretty good at it. Because all my life I've been searching for something. So when it comes about, you got to figure out how to get out of the box. So don't let it frustrate you, because in that moment you get blind anger. I mean, that doesn't help anybody.
Nope.
In a relationship, it's even more delicate. And if there are kids, it's even more delicate.
Yes.
And if you have a parakeet, it's even more.
Yes, because your emotions are running high, and in that thing, you forget how to say the right thing.
That's right.
That's why we say that you have to keep repeating it. It's learning by repetition. And it's just a situation. Situation can be anything different. It's just, one example. Yes, a female partner can also say, okay, it's a deal. Maybe it's a different situation you're talking about, Yes.
Or let's try it. We can try to negotiate. We can try
Yes.
it that way.
It's not only like a man is always saying yes, yes, yes. No. It depends who's expressing it first.
Gotcha. You know, sometimes relationships leave scars. They may not make you bleed, but they leave scars, and it sort of transforms you into your next relationship, or lack thereof, because you're living a bad, sour taste in your mouth from the prior one.
Well, let me ask you about that, which is a good point, because kids growing up in homes where the parents maybe argue a lot doesn't mean they're separated, but this is just what they know.
That's exactly I was going to say next, because he talked about it. When we talk about with somebody, we ask, how was your childhood? What did they see, their parents? How did they grow up? What kind of environment did they grow up? Because that's all they see. And that's what they pick up. And they feel that this is okay to show anger.
That's a good point.
Right, it's what they know. It doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong.
Yes, no, yeah.
And it can either be my parents got over the anger and everything was great, it was just the way they expressed it, or they fought like cats and dogs and someone would get hurt, either emotionally or physically. It has an impact on you.
You know, I grew up with a sister who, me and her were very close. And she explained to me how my mother was feeling. Because I used to talk to her, and my brother, he didn't, forget about Harry, but my sister used to explain to me how women feel. And I always grew up thinking that I'm no good in marriage. It doesn't work for me. Always grew up with that feeling because I can't understand how somebody else specifically feels. So that made me feel like a failure. And so I used to talk to my sister all the time. Now, like people know I've been divorced twice because maybe I was listening with the wrong ear. I don't know, whatever the deal was. But relationships are here to be worked on. And if you're married to somebody and you're at home with the virus, you know what? Go outside. Go play checkers. Go play something and then come back.
Yeah, but that goes again to this communication, I think, Sonali, right? Understanding the wife is like, all right, I got to go outside and I got to get some fresh air. And the spouse is saying, but no, we can work here, I'll work here and you work there. And she says, no, I really need my space. But that means you don't want to be with me. It doesn't mean I don't want to be with you. I just need my space. And at some point, someone gets tired of this.
Well, what you're saying is it's a short one moment. When you are together, you explain it to your partner that this is what you need, and to go out and express everything. If this is happening, I need air. It's nothing against you. It's not that I'm trying to avoid you. It's not that I don't love you.
Well, how does that get received on the other side? If someone said that to you,
you don't want to know.
You would feel.
Because if I've been trying and I feel, I would say if you want space, move to Colorado. I mean, it's really simple math. If I'm married to somebody and she doesn't want to be married anymore, okay, that's fine. How we now end this is going to have to be equal to the two of us. Because if somebody doesn't want to be, then why are you forcing them to stay?
It's just a moment thing. It's just a moment thing. It's for 5 minutes you need air. There's nothing wrong in it.
But what if this 5 minutes turns into 5 years or 10 years?
Well, you have to see how it goes then. Like we say, breathe. If you ask somebody to just breathe and feel calm, it calms you down, right? Breathing calms you down. Little things calm you down.
It's a good word, breathe. That's a good word, seriously. People should learn how to breathe. You know, we don't know how to breathe.
Yes, so it's just like that. You know, I need 5 minutes to breathe. And partner must understand.
Well, let me ask you a scenario, because I know we got the one. Let me ask you a scenario. When I was married, on the weekends, from Friday to Sunday, was a party in my house. I coached a lot of kids, a lot of family came over, friends came over. It was all the time. And my ex-wife, she didn't grow up that way. Now, in my house, my parents always had parties on the weekends. Just the way we were. It's the way I am. And I get to do some of that here. So she didn't agree with that whole scenario, and it became a real stickler. So I went from having 2,000 friends to having 2 friends to try to accommodate that. But it turned into a different argument.
Well, did you bring in the food and clean, or did you leave that for
her?
I
cooked it. I cleaned it. I threw it out.
So you didn't expect her to do it?
Absolutely not. My coaches love coming to my house, and they help me put everything away. And if Michelle tells you it's not true, I'll bring in my coaches and she'll tell you. I knew what it took to do one of these things for coaches and friends and everything else. We did it every day in Popham Avenue when my parents were doing it. But culture, I was raised, I didn't know any better. I didn't know you were supposed to sit home and lock the door and not invite nobody in your house. I didn't even know what that meant. We unlocked the doors, you came in. So how do you overcome something that you've been embedded with?
So you kept going on with things that you grew up with.
Yes.
We need to make some changes when you meet somebody new.
And here we go.
You come, you bring your things, she brings her things. You have to meet somewhere in the middle ground. It's not black and white. Okay, I'm inviting 1,600 people. Either I invite 1,600 people or nobody. It's like a black and white thinking. There are so many different shades of gray.
You know,
So maybe you can have 50 instead of...
She's right, because Michelle's family I invited over and she didn't like that. I guess she has some scars that I was not aware of or I wasn't listening. I mean, what you're saying is 100%. Damn, I feel like an idiot right now. Thank you very much. Thank you. But it's true. You're 100% right. I didn't take her feelings into consideration of her upbringing, which might have not been a good thing. Maybe she has some deep sentiment on the other side, and maybe that's why she didn't like it.
But she didn't share it with you, or did she?
No, she didn't. Not that I could remember, because I would have made, no, I'm going to say no to that. I found out afterwards that there was a lot of sentiment in there and a lot of anger, and I put that whole family together. I let them come into my house, and we celebrated Christmas. And I'll never forget her, because her parents were divorced. Her brother was there, grandmother, her father, her husband. I purposely put them in the love seat together, and they all sat there and said, "This is really awkward." But I laughed. I thought it was fantastic.
So Dawn asked you that, she didn't express it. That's what happens in many cases. If the partner feels that, he or she is going to do whatever he or she wants to do, or I'm not listened to, they shut down. They stop saying things.
True that.
They
That's
just
a
shut
big-
down.
that's a
And
big problem.
that's very detrimental to the relationship.
That's a big problem.
Either you withdraw or you start complaining, fighting. Both these behaviors are not good for the relationship.
So would you call her now and apologize or have a conversation? I mean, I know it's water under the bridge and you've moved on, but now you look at things, would you say, oh, you know what, Michelle, maybe I'm sorry that I didn't take your feelings into account when we did this?
So anyway, so let's move on.
I don't know.
Really?
I feel like...
No, I would not.
Okay.
I think that's done. I think I either learn from it or I don't. That's why, I love to teach, always been a coach, and I love to let people express themselves. But I believe you should meet halfway. Now, I didn't have anybody like you in my life at the time to come over and explain things to me. Maybe I needed a little fine-tuning. I'll admit to that. I'll admit to being 50% at fault for the relationship not working out. But you know what? It's done. Got to move on to the next level of my life.
Both the parties are responsible. Like they say, it takes two to tango. It's not just one person who's responsible.
And it gets more complicated when you have kids and the whole 9 yards.
That takes attention, too. Yeah.
How do people reach you?
Social media right now, because that's where I am, and my website, email. So my website has all the information, the contact, and social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I have my own YouTube channel, which can be accessed through, again, my website.
All right, more to come. You guys going to stay? We haven't even talked to Alexandra yet. More to come. We've got another segment booked at 1 o'clock, so let's take a commercial break. Let's see if we can get Julio on the VMix.
You got it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When your property suffers from water, mold, fire, or biohazard, You need a professional remediation company that is fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Rescue Clean 911 offer 24/7 emergency service with 1-hour response times now in your area. Water, mold, fire, biohazard. Call now 1-833-253-2699.
Handling the hard jobs with a soft touch.
Looking for a place to get your ice cream fix? Look no further than Cold Stone Creamery. At Cold Stone, we make our ice cream fresh every single day in store. We have over 20 different ice cream base flavors and over 30 different mix-ins to choose from. We also have plenty of signature creations if you don't want to go ahead and choose your own. To end your creation, you can put it in one of our freshly made waffles. We have ice cream cakes, ice cream sandwiches, milkshakes, smoothies, banana splits, sundaes, and so many other things for you to come check out and enjoy. We are the official ice cream store of the Brookyn Cafe. Hope to see you soon, and remember, it's always a great day for ice cream.
Text alert! Text alert! I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Velati on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Velarde, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
Since 9 years old, Gina Presser has created enchanting, whimsical art. She conjures pieces from real stories and artistically expresses the feelings had from them. Achieved with Italian papers, paints, flowers, metals, and clays. Her eccentric finishing touch is her glittery diamond dust cascaded across her paintings and pottery. Gina Presser also hosts weekend art camps, teaching adults and children pottery, painting, and jewelry. Her work can be found in multiple staging homes, family Christian bookstores, and in New Jersey boutiques. For more information, Gina can be reached at livinglifeartfully@gmail.com or by phone at 954-857-5444.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786.
Welcome to Mini Donut World, where the donuts are hot, fresh, and delicious, made to order and customizable by you. Gourmet specialty flavors such as apple pie, French toast, campfire, and strawberry cheesecake are always popular. Looking to tailor your appetite? Build your own mini donuts. Choose from over 18 flavored donut bases, add on your icing flavor, and choose from over 15 toppings and drizzles. While kids enjoy our design your own kits to take home, our 21 and over customers love our alcohol-infused donuts. Come visit Mini Donut World at 8763 Sterling Road in Cooper City. Have questions or want to place an order? Give us a call at 954-369-2301. We know you will love each bite of our deliciously distinctive mini donuts.
Text alert! Text alert! I was receiving letter after letter from the IRS.
I got Mike Velati on the phone and I said, Mike, I got a problem.
He took the pressure off my shoulders.
He just made me feel like I had Superman on my side.
Trust me, he's the man to go to.
IRS problems? I'm Mike Velarde, enrolled agent. I can help. My company, Winning Tax Solutions, has always gotten our clients the best possible results. Visit us at winningtaxsolutions.com or call us today.
feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. There's a side of you, pulls me into you. Got that way of showing me that you're bad news. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. Up in the air, that's where you take me, I swear. I always knew that you would be a game of truth or dare. We were silent for life, then it's on the other side. Now I'm dancing on the run. Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. There's a side of you, pulls me into you. Got that way of showing me that you're bad news. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. All that you do is lie. All that you do is lie. Tonight. Up in the air, that's where you take me, I swear. I always knew that you would be a game of truth or dare. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. There's a side of you, pulls me into you. Got that way of showing me that you're bad news. Oh, Gemini makes me feel alive. Wake me up, shake me up. They say all that you do is lie. Gemini, all that you do is lie. All you do is lie.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I get that.
Yes, and has to eat. And we're back. Yes, and Snickers on the board.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. We are back having a great conversation on relationships and communication.
And there, a lot of stuff.
And I have to thank Jody from WNN, the general manager. For our next interview, we've got Julio Fuentes, the president and CEO of the Florida State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, joining us, talking about, and I didn't really know, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this politics or this bill on a new hurricane tax that they are proposing.
Let's find out what that's all about.
So let's bring over Mr. Fuentes. There he is. Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
We're great. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
So you are the founder, the president, the CEO of the Florida State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
That's correct. That's correct. We've been around for 22 years now. Celebrated our 22nd anniversary this February. So yeah, we've been at this for quite some time.
Where are you based out of?
So based up in West Palm Beach, Wellington, Florida, and we have an office up in Jacksonville and in Tallahassee while we're in legislative session.
And as an advocacy group for Hispanic business and business as a whole, how does this new tax proposal work, or how does it affect your businesses that you're working with?
Yeah, so I mean, we're basically talking as for small businesses, of course, but just Floridians in general. Right now, President Biden's Made in America tax plan proposal would add a new hurricane tax by introducing a global minimum tax rate that affects the entire insurance industry and the millions of Floridians who use insurance. Again, both small business owners as well as your families that are interested in purchasing a home, their first home, their dream home, or obviously if you currently own a home, this will have an impact on you as well. So we're just talking about Floridians in general with this proposed tax plan.
Is this going to be proposed all over the country or just in Florida?
No, it's part of the entire bill, so it will affect everyone, in the country. But obviously, our focus is because we are in Florida and we know a thing or two about hurricanes, and the hurricane tax would tax insurers and reinsurers at a significantly higher rate. That's going to limit the insurance industry, the capacity for coverage. So, we really feel that this plan is really going to affect Floridians, as well as our friends over in Louisiana and Texas, California, of course, with the fires. But our main concentration point is the hurricane tax.
I'm curious. When we had, again, I'm a New Yorker, but I've been down here a few years. When we had the hurricanes, they put surcharges on a lot of things, like the phone, the gas, everything had a surcharge. So is that in the same sphere that you're talking about, or is this across the boards on policies for the homeowner or the business owner?
Yeah, it's on the policy. So basically, a recent report estimates that a total increase in insurance premiums for Floridians, just for Floridians, will be about $1.6 billion per year. So this tax hike could cost every family and small business owner roughly around $320 per year increase. $320. And we already live in a state where we know insurance is kind of high already because of the hurricanes that we have had in the past. So just adding an additional $300+ to an already increased tax insurance that we carry here in Florida, we just feel it's not right.
As it is, I'm finding insurance companies less and less are either reinsuring you, not taking new clients, and then if your insurance company is going to drop you, it's very hard for some people to even get a new insurance company to write a policy in Florida. Will this impact that even greater?
It will have an impact, but what you're speaking about is the citizens' property insurance, which is the last resort for coverage here in Florida. And it's going to hurt the private insurance market as a whole, as it puts the market at a greater risk. So obviously the citizens' property insurance, which is again the last resort of coverage, is we don't know if they could kind of handle all this excess folks that are not going to be able to afford this impact that on their current policies. So we don't know what that's going to look like with citizens. Obviously, they're not going to welcome it because that's it's, the term that they use, the last resort for coverage, is not an attractive one, but that's exactly what it is.
What are you proposing? What are you, as for businesses and advocacy for small businesses, how is this impacting who you represent and work with?
Yeah, so as far as Hispanic-owned businesses, we think of about 600,000 Hispanic-owned businesses throughout the entire state of Florida, which makes up about a quarter of all businesses in the state of Florida. So you're talking about a significant impact to our community, the Hispanic business community, and that's why we're really on top of this issue and encouraging, folks to write letters and call their congressmen and senators and do the whole social media thing. I mean, this is a grassroots, a true grassroots approach to really have the administration understand the impact that this would have on Floridians and small businesses in general.
Now, what can you do to stop this from happening?
Yeah, it's rolling pretty quick. I mean, obviously, catching up on news, you see that there's other issues within these proposals that other folks are not happy about. So it's having its struggles in general, but we really just want to educate these folks because at the end of the day, when they're putting this stuff together, they don't take this kind of stuff, what I'm talking about, into consideration. And not that they're doing it on purpose, obviously. It's just something that, hey, this sounds great. Let's put a tax on hurricane, that's really going to affect small businesses. That's not really the way that they're thinking. They just think that this is a way to kind of fund the government and other things within the federal government. So now it's our job, obviously, to say, okay, you guys need to put on the brakes and let's really digest this thing. And this is how it's going to hurt small businesses and families in general in Florida.
And apparently Biden's saying it's only going to affect those that make more than $400,000 a year, but that is not your contention.
That's not the case. I mean, and again, this is to the point of what I just said. I mean, they put this stuff together and really not digesting it the way that we do once it is put together. So it's not a matter of making $400,000 or not. I mean, you will be affected if you make $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year. This is going to hurt you. So by making that comment is falling a little deaf to small business owners here in Florida.
Mr. Fuentes, how is it that the federal government can mandate something on a state in terms of a tax? In other words, if it's gasoline, isn't it the state that has the priority above the federal government because it's a local business, or is this interstate and the federal government can force this on us?
Yeah, no, they absolutely can. I mean, it's federal tax. I mean, we have state taxes, we have local taxes, state tax, and then federal tax. So this falls under the umbrella of federal tax, which again, it's going to hurt folks, all over this country because it is a federal tax. So there's not much that we could be done at the state level that I know of anyway. I haven't heard any discussions of how to maybe offset this from a state level, but definitely, obviously, this falls under the federal tax mandate.
So we should write, I guess, who's the senator?
I guess depending on the district that you live in.
No, I mean the one that goes to Washington.
Yeah,
who's the guy up
Senator
there?
Rubio and Senator Scott.
It was Rubio and Scott. So I guess we got to get in touch with them and send a letter, all of us, to say, what are you doing? We don't want this.
Definitely them, and then of course your local, congressperson in your district as well. Ted Deutsch is obviously, you folks are over in Boca there, so you have Ted Deutsch.
Right.
And which, interestingly enough, I mean, I personally have not spoken with Congressman Deutsch on this particular issue, but of other Democrats and Republicans that I've shared our beliefs and our thoughts on this particular issue, they get it. They get it because they're Floridian, and their constituents will be hurt by this. So this is an interesting one that's really, kind of the lay of the land right now with politics. It's kind of, you party line and you follow that party line, but this one hits home. This one really gets both sides. They understand it.
It's funny, I had Deutsch in at WNN.
We're getting hit. Gas prices are up. I'm driving now past NN yesterday to get gas, cheaper down in Deerfield than it is up here in Palm Beach County.
I'm giving up my car.
And that's just,
I'm
it's
going
just
to scooter.
$50 to fill my car now.
$50? You got a nice tank. I mean, everywhere you look, it becomes an issue. But Deutsch I had at WNN, I'm going to make a phone call. Wouldn't it be nice if I don't know if he'll come because
would.
this is a sensitive. He does. He's pretty good at this. He meets sort of stuff head on. And maybe we have Julio talk to him on the set somehow. And let's bring it up. Listen, I'm all in for information. And this right now affects all of us. Whether you want it or not, it's on its way.
Well, I see they're talking about a government shutdown come end of Thursday evening before we hit October 1st anyway.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that looks like it might be happening, which is really, really unfortunate. And I was listening to MSNBC kind of talking, while they were testifying in Congress earlier this morning. And they really feel that a government shutdown now, as we are, still in this pandemic. I mean, we saw a little bit of recovery, but this will have a absolute devastating blow to the U.S. economy. So it's scary when you start hearing that kind of language.
It absolutely is.
800,000. It affects 800,000 employees. I think they're going to push an extension to deal with it next month, like they've done in the past. Maybe 2 extensions, and then they're going to shut it down for a couple of weeks and come back because they can't get out of their own way.
What do you say, kicking it down the line? They're going to keep kicking it down the line.
Kicking down the line.
Kicking it down the line.
And it's really funny because after everything we've been through, you would think that these mature men and women,
the officials that represent the people of the United States of America,
it just boggles the mind.
But I want to also ask Mr. Fuentes, as the president of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, you are Hispanic-owned small business on the AMP side of what
Yes,
you
I
do.
am.
What else does your chamber? Who else do you represent?
How do
else
you
can
join this
help?
chamber?
That's exactly.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we work, and thank you for asking that. We work a little bit different than your local chambers. Obviously, you have the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is the national organization, and then you have statewide organizations. We represent the state of Florida, and then obviously you have plenty of local Hispanic chambers throughout the state. We're not in the quote unquote membership business like the local chambers are. I mean, we get calls every day from a restaurant down the road that would like to join the Florida State Hispanic Chamber. But there's not much that we can do for that restaurant because we don't do the networking events and the dinners and the networking stuff. We don't do that. We're advocacy. So our members, our trustees is what we call them, are just about every bank in the state of Florida, the Walmarts of the world, Target, Fortune 500 type companies is who are our trustees and who we work with.
So it's a different influence.
So if you want more information, you can find our local, which is probably would be nice to check in with our local Hispanic chamber.
Do you sprinkle the information that you guys gather down to the local level?
Absolutely, yeah. We work with about 38, 39 local, not only chambers of commerce, but kind of business type organizations. So we work with about 38 of them. We have a database. So I do encourage folks to go to our website, fshcc.com, and they can enter their email address there. And obviously, we have a huge database. We manage a database of over 800,000 small businesses. Obviously, the majority of those being Hispanic-owned businesses, but that's our bread and butter right there, is that database. So we share all this information that we're talking about here today, other issues important to Floridians. So I do encourage folks to just sign up, and that's free of charge. Just sign up to receive our mailings, and obviously follow us on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn as well.
That sounds interesting for Fuego.
It sounds interesting just for Fuego and just in general for, you say, your Latino brothers and sisters and small businesses as a whole.
Yeah, it's true because we are in Florida and we have a lot of Latinos down here. We just need them to get deeper into the game and get more into some of the things that we do that other brothers and sisters has done, especially among Hispanic women, which is our forte. Is the name of the game right now. They're carrying the torch, believe it or not. That's why we brought you in today, believe it or not, because it's important that we get this out there, this information.
So thank you so much for joining. This is really important. Housing prices right now in Florida are crazy as already. Now adding more tax to it, hurricane tax and more, it just gets more and more difficult to get into a home.
It's not cheap to live in Florida no more. Welcome to New York.
Mr. And by the way, I'm a New Yorker as well, so I love the name of your show. I'm born and raised in New York. I'm in Florida for over 20 years now, but a New Yorker at heart forever.
Were you in the Bronx?
Queens, New York.
I knew a Julio Fuentes from the Bronx. I thought it was him when he came on.
You never know. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're ever over on this side of South Florida, we'd love to meet you.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, it goes to show you legislation, things that are happening around us right now, all the important stuff that's going down. You gotta keep your head on a swivel.
And everyone's got an opinion, but when it comes down to businesses and taxes and money, more money we see what it is, the money just keeps going out.
Well, it's funny because anytime they take money out of your pocket, the conversation has a different twist. This is why I tell you, if you're gonna get divorced, there's money coming out of your pocket. You better get up, hip on the game real quick. Anytime you gotta go like this, you get people's attention.
At some point, you stop wanting to go like this, right? You can only do it for so long. You say,
I mean,
wait,
you go
what's
to
going
another
on?
part of the city to get gas.
I left you yesterday.
And you went down
and
south.
I went further south thinking it was close.
It's 14 cents cheaper.
It was a lot of traffic and everyone was there. So when everyone's using the pumps, it took me an hour to get home after I left you yesterday.
Now, do you spend more gas going to get that gas than going and you can't buy gas in Boca unless you're at Costco or another place that I know. Other than that, you're going to spend $4. $4?
I think it's more than 14 cents. I got to check. Last I checked, near where I live, it's about 50 cents.
Is it?
Difference. That's a lot of money when you're putting in 15 gallons.
I remember when gas was $1.25.
Yeah, I think it was $3.19, I want to say I paid yesterday.
I paid $2.89. So there you are, 89, 99. Yeah, 20 cents.
It's crazy, right? Let's take a commercial break. For more information, you can check out FSHCC.com, which stands for Florida State Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.com. Sign up for their emails. It is free. You should definitely check into it.
Oh, we are.
More to come with relationships. And you want to get hypnotized?
I think we're going to have one of the guys get hypnotized.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Proudly distilling out of West Palm Beach, Florida, Lost Harbor Spirits is a true treasure waiting to be discovered. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786.
Jay Harmon exclusively in the Gallery of Boca. Jay Harmon captures the essence of really creative and captivating mind. Jay Harmon brings light into the darkness on majority of his pieces, using a negative background to highlight the details of some of his looks. I know some artists use white canvases, but he thrives on a black canvas. And here's the kicker. He only uses pencil, colored pencil, graphite pencil, and pencil for his art pieces. Yes, I know it's hard to fathom that these beautiful pieces came from pencil, but yes, they did. And the only way you can experience Jay Harmon is if you come to the Gallery of Boca. Jay Harmon, an unconventional artist with a unique story behind every canvas.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV.
AMP2 TV and WWNN Money Talk Radio have been in conjoint business for over 10 years. They have been working around the clock non-stop to promote over 500 shows and businesses reaching all over South Florida. With added platforms such as social media live streaming, podcasts, and the specialty of live radio, it has never been easier to get your voice heard by millions of listeners. To amplify your impact and start your show today, contact AMP2 TV at 866-224-5422. That's 866-224-5422.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I'd like to see any of this nonsense going on. Thank you very much.
And we're back. Oh, wow, nice segment, huh?
Very nice. I want to thank Jody for giving us that piece. The radio station does send us pieces.
Yep, we actually have a 2 o'clock show with Peter Tipkin of the Tipkin Group as well.
Yeah, you have to pronounce that.
Talking about estate, all kinds of things. And
no,
people
he's not
taking titles.
What's he talking about?
We're talking about what happens with titles. Apparently, in different states, especially in Nevada, people can go in and claim your property as theirs. And no one really questions it until you go in and realize the property you thought you owned, someone has falsely taken it over, and then it becomes a legal issue.
It's funny because 15 years ago, my son told me, you ever seen a company that has a company trade name? You know, like something.com, like ToysRUs.com. And Toys R Us forgets to renew the purchase of the name. And you don't do it for 1 year, 2 years, and then you really forget. And somebody buys it. So now they own Toys R Us. And I'm just using it as an example, don't get crazy. So Toys R Us, they're gonna go, the guy's gonna go, you want the name back, you gotta give me $25,000. And that's what happens in this game every day. So you gotta stay on top of your properties and your names, and that's what they're known for.
So we're talking about, because every weekend, I don't know if you watch all these infomercials and talks about how easy it is to lose the title to your home. People go in, they don't even ask for notary, and all of this happens,
craziness.
And you lose your home title, and you're thinking, how is that even possible? So we're going to find out today at 2 o'clock. That will air on WWNN.
Remember when we went to DMV, I had to renew my driver's license, that whole fiasco? I had everybody laughing, but they didn't I lost my CDL, right? I had to designate a CDL license. And they wanted, the new procedure is I needed a doctor's note to say that I could drive a bus. Now they'll take me in a second because I can drive a bus, school bus. So they wouldn't give me my CDL, remember? And I was trying to make them laugh to see if I could get a buddy-buddy. Didn't work. Didn't work too well.
It's the communication thing. You make everybody laugh, though.
Yeah, but I didn't get nowhere.
So we're going to kick this back over to Sonali and Alexandra, who we have not had a chance to chit-chat with.
I know, this is going to be interesting.
And Sonali, okay, we're on a 2-shot. You also have a course, a program that you are launching.
Correct.
Let's just talk into your mic, please.
Pick up the microphone. And talk into it.
Tell us about.
I forgot about that.
Tell us about your course.
So I got into communication because I feel in my experience and in my marriage, that was the big thing that was missing. and later on, I went through dating experience also. So I learned over time that communication is the key. Whatever happens, whatever the issues are, in my coaching experience and in general, I find that it all comes down to communication, how two people are talking to each other on a daily basis. That's what made me create a comprehensive course so that I can help others communicate better and learn communication skills so they can better their relationships.
And the website that people can sign up or get more information is what?
It's called lovelifecoachexo.com, and they can contact me there on my website, lovelifecoachexo.com.
Do you do seminars as part of the arrangement?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so you're just giving them things to fill out and read?
Yes, it's a lot of information plus exercises, because when you write and it makes it very clear to you, it brings clarity, and you question yourself and you practice, and you practice on your own or with your partner or involve your partner with it. Those exercises help a lot.
So I think she should do a show so that people can follow along and call in and sort of work this whole thing out.
And just listening to you, I think it's more than just a love relationship conversation. I think if you can communicate better in general, it'll be better for business, it'll be better for relationships. Everything is a relationship. And I know you probably don't like that word, but what you and I have is a relationship. It's not...
I don't mean that like that, but I like the word relationship.
Well,
what we
say
have is a
interpersonal,
relationship,
yes,
a
interpersonal
friendship,
relations,
a
yeah.
partnership. It's still a relationship. It's not a romantic relationship.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, the word
But the communication is all important,
the word
too.
I don't like is partner, not relationship. I don't like the word partner.
Really?
Yes, because in business...
Friendship?
Friendship is fine. Partners in business has a whole different definition for me.
Collaboration.
Okay? Yes, but if you're going to be my partner, then you have to take the good and the bad. So if I give you half my electric bill, my partner should help me pay for it. That's a partner.
I do.
That's not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Freddie has its own favorite words.
Yes.
Because it has significance of what it means.
But don't you think relationships involve every connection?
Aspect, yes.
There's a relationship. I mean, our crew and we have a relationship.
Correct.
And so your communication skills that you teach in this course can benefit everything.
Correct. You can use those skills anywhere, with anybody, with your family members, with your siblings, with your parents, with family members, any friends, anybody.
Just so you understand and you can communicate what's going on.
I could see somebody calling on her show and saying, she don't understand me.
But I think the workplace, and we're going to talk to Jordan about this again tonight, is important communication. We talked about this morning, how women are much more in a higher percentage now in the workforce to come in and be the emotional relationship support, whoopee, versus men. And again, it goes back to communication, what's going on. We talked about it this morning.
Yeah.
Women seem to be more into this communication support space than men do, statistically.
Yeah, well, you talked about that this morning. It doesn't mean that I agreed, but okay. I think that women has always been the bigger leader, the more vocal leader. Guys don't talk about it as much. Guys have this mysterious thing that they look at you and they think you know what they're thinking. Women are a little bit more expressive, and they're going to tell you how they're thinking. And now, because of things that are happening all around us, and that's what we're talking about, it's been exposed more.
Well, men have been taught like that since they're children. They are not encouraged to. It's called they are being called sissy or a girl. Don't cry like a girl. Men are more into fixing things, getting food from outside, gatherer. Women, because they are sitting at home and looking after the children and home, cooking, and next women who are they are in a group expressing. That's how they bond with each other. That's why they evolve like that, expressing their emotions. And boys are not allowed. They are not encouraged, and that's why they don't. They just go. They withdraw. They pull back. And that's why we say a man cave, because cave, it's where that comes from.
I'm gonna tell you, a man cave is to get away from a woman.
So you want your
That's
space
that space
too.
thing, yes.
Because
And-
that's how they processed their thoughts. Keeping quiet, staying aloof, and process, and then they come out.
Because
Women,
we're afraid to tell you how we feel.
yes, yes.
We're afraid that telling you how we feel would be wrong, a failure.
A failure, yes. They don't want to show they think that others will feel that they're weak. They don't want to show their vulnerability side, And women are like, it's okay to show your emotions. That's how they bond.
But hold on a second. Look at the scenario. A woman can show her emotions. She's not a failure. A man shows his emotions. He's considered a failure. There's a big difference in dip here.
Yes, that's a biological difference.
You think by men showing their emotions, it means they're a failure?
That's how they think.
Is that true?
Of course it's
They
true.
are failure, and
If you cry over something, you think
I cry over anything. I don't care who thinks
I know.
what.
So you think we're going to think you're a failure
Of
because
course.
you're emotional?
You got your mic is
No.
on? Hispanic families are notorious for telling your kids that you should be man up. Man
Correct.
up.
Correct.
Yes? Hispanic families. Right?
Hispanic and black families in the U.S.
Even in Indian culture, yes.
Yeah.
And we are taught, when I was younger, I used to have a very high voice, like Pee Wee Herman. And my uncles, all 20 of them, used to say, man up. And they used to take my cars. They used to say, you got to talk like a man. And that's that Latino machismo, which is, I'm going to tell you something, put it in a bottle and throw it out to sea because that game is over. There ain't no more of that no more. I raised my kids and told my ex, go to work. Go build a career, because I know me. I'm gonna go get mine. You know that go get got. That's where I got it from. So I used to send a woman out. Let me see what you got. Go do your thing. But that has changed nowadays. Do men stay home with the kids?
They do. In some cases, yes, things are changing. Even men have started expressing, but I would say that I'm not against men. Sometimes women are also responsible for doing that. If a man cries a lot, woman says, "Are you a woman? Why are you always crying over little things?" If they express, so we are also responsible for sending them back to their old pattern.
It's interesting. I want to ask Alexandra, because we haven't had a chance to talk to her. As women are getting more empowered, and we are, do you find it a shift in how we can communicate?
Talk in your mic.
Women are finding.
Talk in your mic. Your microphone.
My mic. Sorry. Yes, women are being more empowered, and they're finding they need a man, or they think they need a man less and less. It's not a requirement to get married, and they're also not wanting to put up with anything. And I think that's where she comes in, because you have to put up with stuff just as a man has to put up with you. And people, I think a lot of women are like, I don't need that. I can support myself. I can do this. And they're not as open as they used to be. I have a lot of people coming to me for relationship issues. And that's a main problem. They're like, well, I don't need a guy. So
It's interesting what you do. We talked during commercial break about wiring and childhood experiences. And when you and I first heard of this years ago, remember we had a couple on, Eileen and her husband. They talked about what happens in your childhood. It's so imprinted, and the wiring. And we thought, we just don't understand what that means and how to express this as their business. But now it's come even more like this roller coaster of, this is what it is. It's these imprinted wiring, as you call it.
Absolutely. I started out as a self-talk trainer. I studied neuroplasticity, how the brain is wired and how it gets rewired. And that's how I got into hypnotherapy, because it's absolutely true. And like she was saying, with relationships, when it's repeated, or in life, you're a little kid, you hear your parents fighting in the kitchen, you might be playing with your Legos, not paying any attention. It's going in there. Your subconscious mind records everything. And you know how you can listen to somebody and they'll get in a fight in a bar or something. You go, why? And they go, just the way I'm wired. It's really true. It is the way you're wired. And so somebody like Sonali can diagnose and figure it out. I don't diagnose, but I can go in there and change a belief system. Because that's another way I got started, is people would say, believe in yourself. And I'm like, but I don't. I had a horrible childhood, was made fun of all the time. I have no self-esteem. I want to manifest and listen to The Secret, but I'm more begging for my things to happen and not believing. So I was like, how do you believe in yourself? How do you change that dynamic? And that's when I started studying neuroplasticity and self-talk and ultimately hypnosis, and it's amazing.
So are you a powerful woman?
Now.
You're a powerful woman?
Now.
Are you a powerful woman?
Yes, I am.
Are you? How come you nod? You nod. You're supposed to say it so that the universe can hear you. You all the time tell me that. Why don't you say, yes, I am?
That I am powerful?
Yeah.
I am, because sometimes I sound like Faith now. It's like, boom, scary how powerful I can be.
Well, here we go.
That's why I don't say it.
It's interesting because if you actually believe what you believe, you will rewire yourself.
Absolutely.
The example that you gave with the Legos, do you know those Legos become a trigger towards that behavior, and you get unwired again. Here we go again.
See, he says one thing, I finish the sentences. Yeah. But how did you get to that point? Because we know people that just say, how do you believe? How do you actually have that confidence? And how do you feel the way people look at you and say you're amazing, but you feel, I'm not?
You know how you do it, and I believe, maybe people will call in and say they know something else, but what I've learned, it's self-talk is the most important thing you can do. And It's not just affirmations, but it is repeated like that. And I studied with Dr. Shad Helmstetter, and he is one of he wrote a book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And for the last, 12 years, every single day I listen to self-talk in one area, 35 different volumes, whatever I need, and it just goes in and in. Hypnosis and self-talk, because it is what you say. You drop, you forget your keys, you go, I'm an idiot. The universe goes, okay, you're an idiot. It does not know the difference between sarcasm, truth, it's literal like a 4-year-old. You say it, okay, and it's the same thing. Your mind tries to protect you. Like if you got in a car accident, the 4-year-old brain might say, well, we're going to make you into an agoraphobic who will never leave your house again. That way you'll never get in an accident. Not healthy, but your mind will come up with things like that. So someone like Sonali, someone like myself goes in and gives you healthy ways to not get in a car accident, not by not staying home.
What was that word you used?
Agoraphobic.
That's somebody who doesn't ever go outside, and it's usually a fear-based issue.
Wow. I got to tell you, I do production at the radio station. That's a one-man act. I do it. And I was telling Dawn and anybody that would listen, I'm not fast enough anymore. I used to run shows off like this.
What do I tell you? It's bad self-talk.
And I scream at myself. I smack myself. I go, you got to get back in the game. So I went on a weekend and I did show after show after show, mock shows, to get back into speed. So, there's a lot of stuff you're saying right now. You're triggering all sorts of things around me.
It's so powerful. And the thing that I get so angry about, though, with people, it's so simple they won't do it. I'll tell them.
Oh my God, yes.
I'll tell them, I'm going to make an MP3 for you. It's 30 minutes long, but I break it up into 4 segments. Listen to one while you're shaving in the morning, 9 minutes long. Listen to a little bit when you're driving. And I can't even get people to do that. And I'm like, in 6 months, your life is going to change without you even... Can't be bothered.
You're 100% right.
Can't be bothered. And it really frustrates me because I'm like, I don't know, hypnosis and self-talk, after you go to somebody who diagnoses like self-esteem, whatever your issue is, then you get the positive self-talk, and then hypnosis does lock it in your subconscious. Your life can change in 3 weeks. As opposed, it takes 600 talk therapy sessions to do the same thing 4 hypnosis sessions will do.
Was there a pivotal moment in your life when you said, I have to do me?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what it was?
Oh, yeah. I remember exactly. I was manifesting things, but it was exactly what I didn't want, but I didn't realize that. And everyone said, You know, worry is a prayer for what you don't want. And I was so worried all the time. And I looked around and I had pigeonholed myself into exactly what I didn't want. And then somebody said, boy, you're a manifester. But if you just need to do it right and do positive, and I went, how do I change my belief system? And I was walking through a bookstore of Romans in Pasadena, California, and I saw what to say when you talk to yourself. And I grabbed it, and it changed my life. And then I got into hypnosis, and I have manifested every single thing I have wanted in the last 4 years, down to a man, the house I'm living in. And I mean, it just came to me. I walked out to a trash can, he was there, and we're together.
In the trash?
It was out by the trash cans that I was looking for.
Wow.
But I'm saying it is so powerful when you align your belief systems and your self-esteem with your goals and stop sabotaging yourself.
It's a self-sabotage.
And that's hard to do because you don't even know you're sabotaging yourself, because that's the way you're wired. And if somebody does something that triggers you, a Lego, maybe your dad used to beat you constantly, you'd come in drunk, you're playing with the Legos, you get whacked, you could see the Legos and that whole feeling could come back and you react a certain way, you don't even know why. Through hypnosis, you're not a different person, but you stop now and you're like, oh, that's a trigger. I'm not really angry. I can calm down now. And it's life-changing.
Now, I got to ask you, because there's a separation of old school, new school going on around us right now. So what we used to do in the day, and it's funny because I mentioned Gualinda, she's the only one that knows who Gualinda is.
The Flying Walendas.
He died in Puerto Rico. Did you know
she's
that?
not from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but she watched it.
62 and watched TV, and it was a big thing.
I understand. a lot of people think...
I missed that whole thing.
Oh my gosh, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that hypnosis is yay or nay. But do you know watching the news is hypnosis?
It absolutely is.
Yep.
Do you know that if you watch the same program over and over again, like I must see King of Queens. I must watch that every night. Not because I can tell you the words to every episode. I watch it for 5 minutes because I'm hypnotized. Television is the biggest hypnotic deal.
Remember when Cuomo was doing the press conferences every day in New York? People were glued to that information, whether you thought it was good to hear or it was a negative talk. This is what it is. And this is how I feel about general TV as a whole. And I know this is our business and this is our careers. But if you watch the commercials, which our crew does not because I don't watch TV, everything is a medication. So what is that doing? That's telling you about the amount of sickness that is out there, all the side effects you can have. And I get it's a business. I understand. But it's that negative self-talk that's being put into your brain over
negative.
And but that's what it
but
is.
It's the change of negative.
Which is why we have to do the flip side of it.
That's why I love watching the Sunday shows, because on Sunday, maybe it's a religious thing, I don't know, they put all the positive stuff.
Was there a pivotal moment in your life that you said, I have to change into something that I want to be?
Yeah.
Or were you always like this?
What's this?
This
What's the this you're talking
amazing,
about?
creative, keep going self.
Two different questions. The moment had nothing to do with my creativity. I've always been a creative nut. My mother would have told you, my sister will tell you, ever since Freddie was 9, he was always creative.
Well, your sons are like that too.
They are. Well, I created the first lemonade stand that had music. So when you bought a little cup of lemonade for me, I put music on for you. So I've always been creative. But the other one, that's
pivotal moment of change.
That's a different pivotal moment of change.
Do you have one?
Yes, I do. But
I know where I was.
Not to put it. Yes,
I know. Sonali, do you have a pivotal moment of change?
Alex.
Yes, actually.
Put the gentleman at the seat
when I got into art, that changed my life.
I'm sorry, I missed that one. What changed your life?
When I got into art.
Art.
Okay.
So when I got into art, I started painting, and that I discovered a lot about myself when I was expressing myself through art. A lot of questions came to my head, and everything I started expressing through my art. Because I come from a culture where I saw submission in women, and I follow suit.
What kind of art do you do?
Mine is more representational, abstract figures, landscapes.
Interesting. Did you know she painted?
I have different collections, yes.
I had no idea. And you've never bought me a piece of art.
Well, I had displayed my art in Delray Art Gallery for 1 year.
Well, that's right.
Remember?
I remember that. Yes. You
That's where I
remember.
met you, Dawn, for the first time. I think saw your.
But this isn't the same woman that I met back then. Sorry to tell you.
Well,
It's
I
a whole
evolved.
different person.
So I discovered a lot about myself. All these years I am discovering, and then I asking questions myself. And that's when I said, this needs to change. I'm not living an authentic life. And that's when I moved here.
Did you ever notice that you have to go through certain hardships?
Event,
and
yes.
All of a sudden,
Life-changing
it smacks
event,
you
yes.
in the face, right?
Yes.
You can't ride at high time. You know, it's funny you're both here because I tried to express to the producers, I don't call them interns, I call them producers because they produce, that you have to believe you are the greatest at this entire game. When you walk through that door, this becomes La La Land. You are the best at what you do here, whether you're putting together a TV stand or you're putting together a music piece or you're putting together a video, because you have to actually believe in you in order for the goodness to come out of you. So I'm
Correct.
glad that you're here because that's an important message.
Self-esteem, I think, is the foundation of everything, because even communication, when you don't have the self-esteem in an area, you don't even know why you're angry sometimes. You feel, you know, if you're with a guy and he looks at a beautiful young girl and you don't have your self-esteem, you're going to feel less than, you're going to feel embarrassed. But if you feel amazing, there's a whole different dynamic going on than if you feel insecure.
But your self-talk, it's true, the self-talk, and that you can actually rewire it to have a better self-esteem, better self-talk. People say all the time, how am I going to change my self-talk because I don't believe it? But here you are, the proof in what it is.
Yeah. And I have a whole self-talk program that people, and I even have a thing for children from 0 to 12, and then from 12 to 17, 2 different packages. Like for little kids, you just play it in the background. It just goes in, giving them self-confidence. And over and over, it's repetition.
Where's your practice?
Pardon me?
Where's your practice?
I practice out of Delray, right off of
Oh, you're
Atlantic
close.
on 6th Street.
Oh, very
It's
close.
funny because when Michelle was pregnant, she used to put headphones
On the baby?
on the babies and play positive stuff. This is from our very expensive doctor down in Manhattan. And it worked because look at Gio.
It's no different than learning a language. I tell people, just if you were learning Spanish, the best thing you could do is immerse yourself, go to Spain or Mexico or something. The second best thing, listen to tapes, talk, repetition. I'm teaching you a language of success. Repetition, repetition, it's no different.
Well, then maybe the two of you can answer this question. We just went through 2.5 to 3 years of bad luck right now with what's going on. People in the business world have to learn, you got to push. You got to push harder than you ever pushed before. You can come, I'll sit you here, we'll talk, we'll figure out something that will work for you. But they don't. And then they fall, and then they fail, and they sit in a chair and go, me oh my, what am I going to do? Where does that come from? Is it the rewiring again?
It's the wiring. If you behaved a certain way, I tell people who are coming in for smoking, and they want sometimes I do it in one session, but I say, let's do at least 4 sessions, you know? And like, really, I need 4? And I said, well, you've been smoking for 35 years. You're sitting with me for a half an hour. Maybe there's some other connections that'll, you know, you'll go out, and if somebody is smoking on TV, it'll spark you. Maybe you like to smoke after sex. We need to keep getting in there. The wiring's complicated, you know, but it doesn't take much. It doesn't, 4 sessions for 25 years of a behavior.
Takes a want.
Wow.
You got to want to change.
You've got, thank you.
If you don't have want, you got nothing.
There's that pivotal
there's
point
no
where you
magic
say, I have to change, I have to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, we've got the resources to help you. Ladies, thank you so much for joining
Well,
us.
thank you for having us
More to
over.
come. Wow.
Thank you.
Extra treat. Thank you for bringing Alexandra Sonali. This was a whole lot of fun. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We can always get that information if you were looking for that. Small business advocacy. A lot going on. Great show.
Good
Our
stuff
crew,
today.
fantastic
Gotta
job
tell you,
today.
good stuff today. You guys changed the whole atmosphere today of what's going on.
What
Love
is
it.
your pivotal moment? Positive self-talk. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe. Be kind to each other. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brookyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brookyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brookyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.
In the cold and sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors, just to rain